I tell you, I love a good pun, man. I like bad ones too. I like that one. That was an old joke my mom used to tell. She heard it from somebody, and that's just like been a running every because how many times because you'll hear Buccaneer every now and again, football, whatever, mascot. And every time I hear Buccaneer, I have
Mm-hmm. It's good, clean. Welcome you to Porch Talk. This is your host, Alan, and got Charles Wilson here with us today. He just recorded his 5-song set for Closed on Sundays. He is on a stint up here playing music in Tuscaloosa, and glad to be the last stop, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here. And I told you I brought my little list.
Oh gosh, here we go.
I know that's never a good thing. He got a list. Yeah.
What?
So you made the list, but no. So first of all, you pop up on my feed, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I'm on the socials, and it's all these familiar people that I know that we know, and I, again, reached out to you because, hey, gonna be in T-Town, you hear the dates, every home game, I'm here, what works, would love to do the show. I think it's very cool. It's a really cool idea, and it's in Reform. What the heck, man? I was like, right past Gordo, what? Yeah, so 30-minute drive ain't nothing, man. But all these people are popping up on my feed, and I start going down the rabbit hole, and I see. All these are, going back to, I think we just looked at it, was 2018,
mm-hmm.
July 2018, a Porch Talk. And I start from the bottom, I start scrolling back up, and I had to ask you, Shake It Like a Caveman. So Blake.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Blake first.
Dude, I was like, so the man, the myth, the legend. I was like, so Blake, that's awesome. We talked about Taylor Hollingsworth and Matt Patton,
mm-hmm.
separate and together.
Mm-hmm.
You've had them. So, we're talking about Jacob
Kiner.
Yeah, Jacob Kiner, who he just signed with
Matt Patton's Dialback Center.
Yeah. So, Emily Stuckey from the Crickets. I live down in the Gulf Coast now, so I've known Emily for a while. And yeah, I love me some Emily. Love the band. They've gone through, lineup changes here and there, mm-hmm. but I mean, it's it's good stuff, man. I'm a big fan. Abe Partridge, we were just talking about Abe and how you have. Is yours woodwork?
Yes.
That he did. See, mine's just on a canvas, but I have some personal artwork from Abe Partridge. Right before I say before he blew up, but he's always been. I mean, he's
if it wasn't for COVID, I wonder where he would be today.
Me too. I mean, because y'all did that
during COVID.
Y'all did. Was it a record,
mm-hmm.
or how many?
It was a compilation of Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. Abe's on that record. Taylor's on that record, but just nothing was going on. I had just had Abe on the show. I'm an Alabama astronaut, and I hit him up. I was like, I want to make this record. And he's like, I think it's a good idea. I think you should go for it. And I was, will you make the art for it? He said, okay.
Yeah, so not only did just an artist, in the truest sense, I mean, he's one of my favorites, and he's such an odd bird. But in the best possible sense.
Well, I mean, it's like so many, and we'll get into it. It's probably like your story. My story is church background.
Yeah,
and
for sure. Mm-hmm.
Pastor and military background, and then married, having babies, and we got to figure this out, And I always love it for people when they can do great art, do great music, and provide for their family. And he's one of those guys that gets to do it.
Yeah, one of the, I remember, like you said, with the astronaut, I remember the ones, the alien song, the space. That's such a great one. But one more recent, Nashville with the G. The gnashing of teeth. Get another biblical reference. That's. I guess there is something there that made me. I guess I saw it on a personal level too, like you said, having that background that he does, and being able to work that into everything. It's a very cool thing. But I'm gonna keep going with
Yeah.
I'll get caught up on it. We talk about it from day. Yeah, you're wearing the hat now, Bo Hicks. He's been a longtime friend. I mean, back when That's Cool. Do you remember the podcast? So like they had it was upstairs. It used to be a barber shop in downtown Tuscaloosa.
Kyler Marshall, Bob Baker.
Kyler Marshall, yeah, baby. I was about to say, 'cause Bob was on the show as well. I was going to get to him as well, but
He's been on a handbag episode on Porch Talk.
yeah. Oh, they did it. That
Yeah,
one too.
I was like, Bob, you have to co-host this one for old time's sake, man.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, he never loses. It's like riding a bike, right? You know, you get right back on it. But Bo, going from this little room in a barber shop, having friends come up and have it, making beer, and that's where it all started. Now Druid City is, what it is today with is it Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, and expanding that, and that, of course through Bo, I've met so many great people. Tyler Marshall, like killer guy, and just love those guys. I've spent quite a bit of time at the brew. I'll be playing there actually October 18th, Tennessee Hate Weekend. That's a Saturday.
Yes,
yeah, that'll be a good one. Just love those guys. Love Bo Hicks. I mean, back when he was playing with Bok Wai and playing percussion with Chinese Dennis, like seeing him in the old booth. Yeah. Like I've known Bo's but we both had hair back then. We both had hair, but that's how long I've known Bo. It was great, man. And Egan's, that whole family. We all still keep in touch and everything, but Bo's been one of those staples of Tuscaloosa that reason I still love going back is getting to see my buddy, and they have the Moon Room.
Yes.
So when I was leaving back in 21, moving down to Orange Beach, I came to Bo with all my gear. I was like, bro, I can't take this stuff with me. And I had all this PV stuff because back in the day, growing up, being from Demopolis, the metropolis of Demopolis, Alabama, I was right next to Meridian, and they had the PV plant. So everything was PV. I could just go up the road if something busted or broke down, and it was just no thing. They were ready. They wanted to help me.
And back during that time, like when PV was still being built and made in Mississippi, my first electric guitar amplifier, my first electric guitar, PV. Yeah, and they were made in Mississippi, and they were good instruments.
Yeah,
and
solid.
Even better speakers.
Yeah, so 2 SP2s that are in the Moon Room now. I sold them the mixing board the main mixing board. Then I gave them a Gator case that was full of power amps. And I guess that was it, but it was the Gator case. It had like some power amps in it, and there was like a vocal mic processor kind of something or other. But anyway, I was like, give me $100 each item. Whatever it was, and they gave me like 400. I don't know, whatever it was. I was just like, and now all these, cool bands that come rolling through Druid City, they're playing on my. They're playing. Yeah. By the way, can we curse? I don't want to.
Do what you want to do.
Okay, but anyway, they're playing on my shit. It's like they're all playing on my old gear, and it just makes my heart happy. And then I go back and I play gigs, and I get to play on my old stuff. So
I've got a lot of great shows in that Moon Room.
Oh man, even the one when they were across the street. I used to play before for a lot of games.
Parking lot shows.
Yeah, got the wall of kegs behind you, and Bo's on the grill behind the kegs.
And then there's gonna be a train.
Oh, you got to start playing Johnny Cash songs on that. You just got to train. Yeah, and you pray for an Amtrak.
And I'll tell you,
one just real quick, not a long one, not a 150 car one.
Man, when it comes to Druid City Brewing, Tyler, Bob, Bo, whenever I have a friend going into town, I ever go into the Bama game, and I was parked at Druid City Brewing, and the Boy Scouts are going to be at the front of the parking lot, but just tell them you go in to see Bo, you don't pay for parking. And I was like, these crazy jokers cut a path to the woods that leads right to Bryant Dick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can have free beer, and then you can have post-game beer.
I was like, did you follow me this past week? That's exactly what I did.
That's what I do.
I woke up, we got up in the morning, drove to the brewery. That's what I did. I park at the brewery. I go in, it's a morning game, so they got, tacos and eggs and stuff. So ate me a nice good breakfast, and then we cut across the tracks, went through the neighborhood. And I used to live on 7th and 11th. So that was like, I mean, my whole place was just right there. So like, I crawled across the tracks several times to get back home.
I can't tell you how many times post game I have busted my ass.
Oh, those rocks, man. Oh, you'll rock slide down there. You gotta be, and especially like, of course, like you've been drinking, of course, like you're leaving the bar, going to it, and yeah, it can be a little treacherous at times for sure.
But worth it.
But totally worth it. But yeah, man, Bo he's one of my all-time favorites. I love him, and I'm grateful that he and Tyler, they still always, are trying to help me out and we need to book some gigs, and they let me come there, and I also love their beer.
That helps a lot.
But they are, yeah, right. But good dudes and guys that I look forward to seeing when I go to Tuscaloosa. Keeping on going, we were just talking Red Clay Strays.
Yeah.
I lived on the Gulf Coast now. They just did that 3-night run at the amphitheater, and we've just said how it was Justin Johnson, who's on tour, going to play at Red Rocks. Taylor Honeycutt from my hometown of Demopolis, and her husband Josh, and Abe. I mean, like, how cool, man! Like all these people that I know, grew up with to a certain extent, some of these, and you just know all these people. Red Padilla and the Revelers.
Yeah.
I see them all the time. I have a little band myself, a little cover band. We're called Sax on the Beach, and nice. Our buddy Ian Chong. I've had multiple sax partners. Another crap, terrible. But Ian Chong has been the most recent one I had. Do you remember a little band up here? There was a guy, Lars, used to play with the original Shake Charmers. With Lil Bo. He was the saxophone player for that group. And that's how I first met him. But then he moved down to the Gulf Coast, and we hooked up and we formed Sax on the Beach. But he's been so busy with other folks, and my buddy Ian's kind of taken the mantle for that recently. But I'm a sucker for a horn section. I love so Red. When I see Red, I'm always trying to make it to their shows.
So back when, and this is the first time I heard Red and Revelers live. It was the first time that I saw the Psych Keys live. Right, Partridge psychedelic punk band. The band is Red Clay Strays, but they're doing punk.
Yeah. Oh man, no, that sounds awesome.
I've got a record at the house. Next time you talk to Abe, get that record.
Okay, what's it called?
Psych Piece.
Okay.
They started out, they were called the Psychedelic Peacocks. But shortened it up to Psych Piece. But whenever they would play the Music Box downtown Mobile, it would always be...
Which version of the Alabama Music Box? How many times has that place been resurrected?
Well, I'm telling you.
Jeez.
But it would always be Abe solo, Red and Revelers, Psych Piece. And I've seen that exact show 3 times, and I was like, I'd see it 3,000 more times. Like you, man, I am a sucker for some horns, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. growing up, I don't know about you, but I didn't get to control the radio. So like if you're with your granddaddy, riding with my granddaddy, my namesake Charles Maiden, he loved all the old country. I'm a huge fan of this guy right here, the Duke. But I know it's not music, but it but he was all things old country. Whether it was Willie or Patsy Cline, Connie Francis, just whoever. He was always listening to old country. But my dad really liked a lot of that bubblegum pop from like the 60s and like yummy, yummy, yummy. I kind of love, all that kind of silly stuff. But there were a lot of songs in there, like he liked Jay and the Americans, and they had that song "This Magic Moment" with that guy. And they had that horn breakdown, dun, 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 and I remember hearing songs like that and being like, oh man, that's really cool. You have completely broke down the song and just had the horns. Like that's really cool. And then of course, you get older, you start discovering like James Brown, Jackie Wilson, no relation. Love that Higher and Higher is probably it's the song the Ghostbusters play to get the Statue of Liberty moving, and Ghostbusters too. I remember these songs and like certain horn sections, and it just always the Blues Brothers, like I mean, like all these different things. And like I said, I am just such a sucker for some horns. And Will Stewart.
Yeah.
So
Will Stewart.
it's funny because a lot of people from my family, from my dad's side, they're Stewarts. That's like the majority of them are Stewarts. And I was like, Will Stewart, like grew up with my Uncle Bill Stewart. My cousin he's Bill Stewart, and then I was Will Stewart, and I was just like, am I related to this guy? And I go, look, I'm not, but I was like, dang, I might be related. Like I had to look through it, but it turns out he's not related. Also, another one.
He's a big reason that heavily inspired my songwriting.
Really?
He had a song on his county seat record called Brush Arbor.
What's it called again?
The song's called Brush Arbor, and it's that's a snake handling church thing. They would build a brush arbor, and it only happens so many times a year. It's like a special celebration that they do, and it's such a great song. And I wrote him. I was, Will, where did that come from? I was like, because this area where I'm from, I remember as a child there were snake handling churches around here, so I'm kind of familiar with it. I was like, but how did you know about that? And he said, I read this book called Salvation on Sand Mountain, and I immediately hop on Amazon, buy a copy of that book, read it in like 2 sittings, and I'm going through and I'm like just Will's catalog and his songs, and like I was like, he's a reader, and the books that he's reading
is what he's kind of
inspired.
Yeah. I've had some similar experiences where I mean you just never know where inspiration's going to strike.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm again, like I'm a sucker for movies too. It's all kind of entertainment, but like I play Bob Dylan's "Man in Me" because I love The Big Lebowski. And that's the song that plays up there. Opening credits, bowling balls are rolling down, crashing into the pins, and then it goes, Sam Elliott, let me tell you about the dude, a song can take you to this movie, can take you to this scene. Like, can you hear Steeler's Will stuck in the middle and not think about Michael Madsen cutting off a guy's ear with a razor blade? You know what I mean?
Like, I'm a huge movie head too, and I'll tell you like this is I like, of course, like fantasy, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter and stuff like that, where the soundtrack can be done by a full orchestra, and it can be big because there's big moments. But Lebowski, just some of my favorite films, Tropic Thunder, comedy, or even just think about.
Well, I was going to say, Scorsese uses, especially like a lot of those old 50s, 60s hits. He's constantly, or Stones, he loves the Stones. Like he's constantly using, how many times when I hear, Can You Hear Me Knocking, like that's been in a bunch of movies.
Yes,
like,
Dazed and Confused, probably one of the best movie soundtracks of all time.
Arguably, I would put it up there
Forrest
for
Gump.
sure. Yeah, a killer one. Like, what's the Buffalo Springfield song? Like,
Something's happening here.
Something's happening, right? You can't deny it. Like, there's just certain songs, it almost feels like this song was written for this movie, even though this film didn't come out till 20 years after the song. And it's like, you can't imagine this without it. And
it's like CCR and thinking about a Vietnam movie, right?
Yeah, and if you ask, I just saw, he did this thing here recently, John Fogerty, called I think it's called Legacy. So his sons play with him now.
Oh.
And he re-released a bunch of these, so it's like a reimagining a little bit of the songs and going back to them. And he says, yeah, I didn't even write that about the war. Fortunate Son. It's like when I first wrote a lot of these songs, like it wasn't even about that. He's like, but it became that.
Yeah.
And he's like, and another thing about, like I said earlier, with one of my songs, not even to compare myself to the great, John Fogerty, but like even with my song doing, going from like, oh, this song is about, maybe it's about war, maybe it's about surfing. Like it's all about, once you put it out there, it's all about interpretation. Anybody you can take it to this other level that like, oh man, I didn't even know that's what it was about. Like I love those moments. It's rare, But every now and again, you just like you take something that just doesn't belong to you anymore. I think Trent Reznor said the same thing when Johnny Cash did.
It was Nine Inch Nails
you
song.
know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
that's Johnny's song.
Yeah, it's Johnny. Like he owned it. You know what I mean? Like even Trent was like, oh man, that's not even my song anymore. I mean, he completely took this thing and just reimagined it, repurposed it, and it's like, I mean,
And it
it's
was
just,
perfect for that time in his life.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
It
Dude,
was like-
Rusty Cage, when he covered the Soundgarden song too, like, I mean, God, there were so many good ones, but those two stuck out to me, because, and I've always been a big, you know, well, really, I'd say Soundgarden, but really it's Chris Cornell. I mean, that guy was just.
I like his solo albums.
Euphoria Morning is. I tell people about that all the things. If you've never heard, if you ever,
They sleep on it.
it's so good.
It's like you like Soundgarden, you like Audio Slave, you like Temple of the Dog. How did you not ever just like look at his solo stuff?
Just some of it, you
Yeah.
know. That was the one. I think it was Scream or Shout or something. I wasn't like crazy about that, but man, Euphoria Morning. That one, just man, that one's my cousin. I was telling you about my cousin Rob, who started a band Duke and the Round Man. He's the one who turned me on to Euphoria Morning. He's like, bro, how do you not listen to this? Like, you gotta go listen to this. It's like you
And
love
one of his
Soundgarden.
last live shows was at Tuscaloosa Amphitheater.
And it was Derby Day, and I was in Demopolis playing a gig, and I was trying to leave so I could go at least catch a little bit of the show, but I just like I would have literally had to be like, okay, bye everybody, I'm like leaving. Don't even pay me because I'm leaving. And I was like, but yeah, I ended up playing that gig, and it's one of those like, man, they'll be back. I'll catch them somewhere. And then, you know, that was May.
Yeah.
It was like May 2017. And he was, what was it, before the summer? I can't remember when it was, but it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was very recent. Like you said, it was one of the last shows they played. And, oh, man, I just can't, you know, kicking myself that I didn't go see that one. But, man, Euphoria Morning, what's the change? But she can't change me. Like that one, and I think that may even open up the album.
I think so. I think you're right.
And I played a song the other day from that album, and my wife was like, "That is a beautiful song. When did you write it?" I was like, "Oh, sweet angel. No, that wasn't me."
And I'll tell you, I don't think Chris ever got enough props for how good of a guitar player he was.
Yeah.
A lot of his songs I can't play.
I saw him live, you know, at the Hangout Music Fest before it died. Before they buried it and rebranded it into Morgan Wallen's Sand in My Boots. And this was years, yeah, we're not gonna, but anyway, but I went to every single hangout except for when it was 2020. I decided, I was like, man, it's changed. I think I've also aged out of it. Like I just, it's just not for me. It's not for me and my people or whatever. I mean, like we were going there for dinner, and I was just like, you know, I'm looking at the list, like, I mean, it's like 5 people I want to see. Like it's like 5 people every 3 days is ridiculous. I'm just not going to do it. And then of course COVID. So like it completely, they didn't even have it. They didn't have the music fest. So, but that was the last year, and so I went from 2010. Up until 2020, I went to every single one. And Chris Cornell did a solo. And there was one song he did, he had a record player. And he played the record and just sang to a record. But he recorded the music for this record. He's like, yeah, there's some parts, I just like doing this. So he came out like place, but he played every song you think he would. Soundgarden song, he played a lot of original, you know, solo stuff. And then did this, I can't remember what it was, but I mean, it was a little like 45 on a record player, like guy like wheeled out a little table and just spun this record. He just sang to a record, and it was just like
nothing else like that.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. That's like, you know, because he made the record, you know, and like I mean, he maybe even pressed it himself. I mean, who knows? But he brought this little record player out and played it and sang to it, and that was a very unique performance, and I'm so glad I got to see that. But I hate that I didn't get to see Soundgarden.
Yeah.
That was definitely a real bummer. But I went to every single Hangout Fest except for that last one, and of course it got canceled. And they, you know, they bring it back, all that resurrect. But whatever. I mean, it was just you know, I had a great time. Saw some really cool bands, and you know, I'm gonna keep this list going because Adam Hood.
Yeah.
is another one. It would BB Palmer. So how BB Palmer and Taylor Honeycutt and Ham Bagby. I remember she used to play Ham Bagby's open mic because of course Ham Bagby's been doing open mic for like 30 plus years or whatever. That's how I got my start in Tuscaloosa. Was thanks to Ham when he was doing it up at the Mellow Mushroom when Jake French was allowing us to do all that. Thank you, Blake. Who knows? But I just thought that, and of course Taylor being from my hometown of Demopolis, and so proud of her and all that she's doing, and her husband Josh and the band, and not to mention all the people like the Red Clay Strays who are helping them. I think they're opening for them in Red Rocks in. Is it this month?
It's coming up.
It's soon. And I have Justin Johnson, I think he's going to be out there with them in Red Rocks too. And I'm actually his drummer, Dylan Heflin, was a guy that I've been playing with as well down on the Gulf Coast. So I'm like, just so proud of these guys and gals get going out there and putting Demopolis on the map, the metropolis of Demopolis. She's doing good things.
Got that one bar in town, the barn.
Yeah, the Red Barn, baby. Yeah. That's shit. I always say their music gonna be a barn burner. They gonna burn that sucker down into the ground one day. They're gonna rip it up so good. But you mentioned early James Mullis, so Adrian Marmolejo.
Yes.
So again, Ham Bagby. I feel like all these people I'm naming all kind of come back to Ham Bagby one way or another, and I think that's just so cool how it all just kind of comes full circle. But I remember getting early before he was doing these tours, like going. It was Dan. I don't know how to say his name, but from the Black Keys. Arbach. So it was his label.
Easy, I say.
Yeah. So and I believe he's still
James.
Yeah, he's still with them and doing the tour. But before he was going overseas and stuff, we played a few gigs together because I was playing with Adrian quite a bit as well.
Good people, by the way. Salt for the earth.
And Megan Lee. I'm sorry. I know her as Megan McMillan, but Megan Lee and her husband Brad, she was playing with James, she was playing with Adrian. Our buddy Andy Branton, I don't know that name, but buddy Mark, he lives up in Kentucky with his wife Kat, and he's been doing good things. Andy's been doing some really good. He released some music here recently, and it's really good. And I'm biased, of course, but I mean, my buddy's doing good things. And Megan and Brad, they're still out there touring. But that she's how I met James, and how he came in and sat in a few times. And then, of course, I find out that he and Adrian are going overseas. And have you ever met Adrian's wife, Paige?
She made these shirts.
It's really? Is there anything that woman can't do? She plays. I'd say fire juggler, dancer. I don't know what but I mean,
jack of all trades, man.
Yeah, she's amazing in her own right with all that she's been able to accomplish and do. It's just cool how we know all these people. I'm not even done with the list. There were a few I needed to ask you questions about.
You know what's ironic though? Taylor Honeycutt is the reason I met all these people.
Really?
I met most of those people you just ran through.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was playing Avondale. It was her, BB Palmer.
Were they inside or were they outside? They were outside. Good.
And I had just Abe called me to go to that show. Abe Partridge.
Mm-hmm.
Red Clay Strays were playing. He hopped on a tour bus with the Red Clay Strays running from Bo Bill, but it was Red Clay Strays, Taylor Honeycutt, and BB Palmer. 3-ticket bill at Avondale. And I said, how come? And he said, okay. He said, we're going to have you on the guest list. He said, you bring anybody? I said, I'm just going to come. And I was hanging out back, green room at Avondale with the Red Clay Strays, meeting Taylor for the first time, hanging out with Abe.
What year was this?
This had to be. You recall? This was probably late 2020 or early 21.
Okay.
Uh,
I just, so everything's, it was a pre or post?
well, yeah, I'm
Okay,
telling you,
I
like,
feel like
everything is so different since then, though, dude. You know,
I totally agree.
like even like
Feel it.
time, like it seems like I can't keep up with time anymore. Like, when did that happen? But we walk out and show starting, Red Clay Strays are playing, and Abe pointed out Ham Bagby, this towering figure.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss them.
And he said, you need to meet him. Go introduce yourself. I walked over there and I said, hey, Ham, I'm Alan. And I was told I needed to meet you. And I met Early James that night. Abe, once again, go talk to that fella in the straw hat with the pigs on it. And like that show that night, I met 25 people that I would still run with and call friends for 4 or 5 years now, and I'm talking about thick as thieves, man.
And I was thinking James too had and I don't know him as well as a lot of the other folks that I mentioned, but I was thinking like he and is it his wife or girlfriend?
Cammy.
They had like they had like a little duo kind of thing, but I want to say it even had a different name. Maybe
It does.
and I can't.
This is Alabama So and So Machine.
Is that okay? I was trying to think. My buddy Ethan used to have one called. His name's Ethan Gardner, and him and his ex-wife, they had one. It was a rake and a rosebud or something like that. And I was thinking it was something more like that for some reason. But I'm just kind of similar, maybe a somewhat similar vibe. But I always did like James and his style, and he's just like
Nobody
an old
likes
soul. It's
Nobody
just,
else like it.
Yeah, I can't really, right off the top of my head, think of anybody that sounds like, looks like you. It's just that.
I think Dan Arbach really has, because on that Easy Out, he's got Marcus King, and like if you look at that entire catalog on that record, I was like, every artist on this label, top tier.
Chris Spees.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of horns players, man, he is with Marcus, right? Is he
Yes.
still right?
As far as I know.
Yeah, as far as I know too. And there's like, because there's little Spees and there's there's Daddy Spees and I say little Spees, but like just so much talent. And that's why I feel so great that I have this. I have this small town background with Demopolis, but played majority in Tuscaloosa, and then been doing a lot on the Gulf Coast where I live now, and it's just funny how everything's kind of like I say, come full circle, or somehow you meet somebody through this, and there's just a pool of talent on the Gulf Coast, and I feel like there isn't as much in Tuscaloosa anymore. In terms of there's a couple of venues, but music just isn't what it used to be, and I don't know.
I feel
like they age out again. You know what I mean?
Let's still go back to the Chucker days,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And do Chucker and Egan's.
Yeah, which Egan's just reopened. So.
Yeah. Man.
And we'll see.
Yeah. But Egan's is done. Like the idea that we once had of Egan's is done. Like it had its place in time, and I will always be grateful for it. Mm-hmm. But it'll never be what it once was. And that's okay.
I caught one of the best Taylor Hollingsworth shows there.
Oh yeah.
And and it's so funny.
Was it just Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just Taylor, and you know how if you've never been to Egan's, man, it's a dive bar, and like they'll set the music up in the back, right in front of the bathrooms.
That's right.
But like I've seen,
trying to play Golden Tee, man.
Yeah, and I've seen like some shows get surrounded where the musician would get up on top of the bar. Egan's used to throw the fuck down.
Did you ever see Daikaiju?
Mm-mm.
When they play the surf rock, kind of a surf rock punk band, they wear the Japanese masks, set shit on fire. They get up on the bar and they take it to the street. I mean, like it's awesome.
I would say I've seen videos of something.
You've definitely seen some videos. There was this one group too that used to roll through. They're called the Monotonics. But we called them the crazy Israelis because they were just crazy, and they were from Israel, and they were like, yeah, man, we had this idea, and we're going to tour for 3 years straight in America, and I was like, and we were like, we were like, anytime y'all are coming through Alabama, y'all got to hit us up. And back when Bottle Tree was a thing,
Ooh,
yeah, like they would come through Bottle Tree. I don't think they ever did it, but Alabama Music Box, you know, they did Mobile, like we would travel to go see those guys. But these guys, they're actually coming to Pensacola on October 6th. It's a Monday. You can catch me there. I will be at that show.
Man, when I was living down on the coast, I lived down in Mobile for 6-7 years, and I spent a brief stint on the other side of the bay in the Foley area. A lot of great venues to play down there. I mean, if you were only playing Mobile, Orange Beach, Fairhope, and Foley, I mean, that whole area, you'd have enough to just stay busy.
Yeah, I usually like, because Orange Beach is my hub where I live. But yeah, like basically a 60-mile radius, you know, going to Pensacola and Mobile, like, you know, I'm willing to travel for that. I mean, heck, I'll come to T-Town too. I am a season ticket holder, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide?
And so I go to every home game. I won't go to Eastern Illinois this year because it's close to Thanksgiving, and we're going to Ohio. My wife, her brother, and his family live up there. And I made an agreement with her that every Alabama home game, especially for Iron Bowl, we're here, but for away games, we can go to Ohio. And she was like, deal. So every other year, I gotta go to Ohio.
Speaking of yesterday's game, man, electric.
Yeah. Oh man, Ty. I feel like Ty is really
coming into his own.
I mean, he's
kind of like
good.
He's reminding me of like a Mac Jones, like McElroy, like field commander. Like I like hitting the helmet, alert, changing the play call on the fly.
Yeah.
Second half opener, flea flicker to Ryan Williams. Now, most beautiful execution I've ever seen in a flea flicker.
It was nice. And then you have, because it was the first 28 seconds of the second half. We have this amazing play, but then of course we knocked over a referee or something, and they gave us that penalty. So on kickoff, he returns, and it's just like, oh, I took the wind right over ourselves. Like, never mind the fact that the boys still have a 28 point lead or whatever it was.
But we wanted the shutout.
We were like, we were all like, oh man. But we were at the game. My mom, my dad came up with some family friends, and my cousins were in town, and we had a little fam jam at the stadium and sat in the sun for a little bit until it was about halftime. We finally got in the shade, and it was a hot game, but man, it was. I tell you what was even hotter. It was Bama boys. They looked good, especially anybody. That first game is always. You just never know, And plus, we don't know Florida State.
Florida State might be good.
I was going to say their head coach and their offensive defensive coordinators, weren't they all head coaches?
Gus Malzahn from Auburn is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but I was thinking their defensive coordinator was also a former. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, for whatever reason, it seems like they have
all the pieces.
They got the pieces, and they actually have a really good team and have a lot of potential. Of course, we'll see. It's, as I say, oh wait, that's just game one. There's a lot of season left. That's the good news. Bad news is there's a lot of season left, and it could be bad. And it could be a long season.
It could be.
And Roll Tide till I die. I was there going to games in the '90s.
The Shula era.
I remember all. I remember Dubose. I remember bad Bama. It happened. Heck, man, even. Year of our Lord 2000 in Saban into his first year. Lost to Florida State.
Oh, you lost?
Lost to Bobby. That was I think that was Bobby Bell's last year.
ULM too.
Yeah. And that's why when we were playing ULM today, I was like, oh Lord.
I was like, please, we don't want to be 0-2 and then smoke them. But that's funny.
Long season.
So after that ULM loss, say this first year in 2007, he's got his LSU championship ring on, right? and he has to stop, get gas, runs in this gas station, and the cashier notices the ring. He said, "What's that?" And he said, "This is a national championship ring from LSU, and we're gonna do that right here." And that cashier didn't know who he was talking to. Not with that Nick Saban wink.
Yeah,
And he said that was a pivotal moment for him.
Yeah. I heard him tell that story, and I was like, I know which one you're talking about, and I could only imagine like him being like, what did I get myself into? But hey, here we are, almost 20 years later, and he's doing just fine.
He did just fine.
He did. Okay.
And that reminds me of like some of the bar shows. Hell, you probably may have done it, but a friend of mine, sitting down having a drink, had no idea. He was just guy came, sat down next to him, and he's there for the show. I don't guess he actually knew what the guy he looked like that he was going to see. And the guy he's sitting next to brings it up. He said, "Man, you heard anything about this guy playing music tonight?" And my buddy said, "Yeah, I've traveled an hour and a half to see this guy. He's I really enjoy it. I just hope it's good." And that guy polishes off a shot of whiskey, takes a shot of water. "Yeah, me too." Hops up on stage. What are you talking to the guy? Got him.
Yeah, man. I've been fortunate enough to not have too many foot in my mouth moments like that. But every now and again, it can be very humbling experience when you have some stuff like that. You never know. You know, what's the old Chuck Berry? You never can tell. And it's been interesting. There was one guy, Hunter Myers.
Yeah.
So I have a buddy of mine down on the Gulf Coast, Hunter Myers, and I thought,
same guy.
oh yeah, same name, same spelling, and everything.
I grew up with Hunter Myers.
So, but I said not mine. I was like, who's this Hunter Myers guy? Because I ended up listening. I was like, this isn't my Hunter, but I like what I'm listening to. The ones that I saw were like Brother Cobb. Mm-hmm. Like you had a bunch of names on here that I didn't recognize.
Those are the regulars. Like Webb, that's the guy at the parking lot right now. Like
okay.
Those are the regulars, and so like it'll be an episode title, and then with Brother Cobb, Webb, Big John.
Yeah.
Like Big John, and if it's with Monk, like Big John and Monk, they were radio personalities locally here, and so like. They're not on radio anymore, but they're on the pod now. So if you was a fan of theirs, they're back.
That is very cool. And there was a Phantom Limb.
Yeah.
Eddie, is it Eddie 9-Volt?
Eddie, who's blowing up right now.
Yes. And Fire Camino.
Oh, that's a Ham Bagby plug right there.
I was gonna say, what is that?
Fire Camino. I actually met him through Taylor Hollingsworth. He was doing, and every year in Birmingham, he does it at a different bar each time. But he's a redheaded guy just like me. And so every St. Patty's Day, he throws these huge parties and he books out like a 5-6 piece lineup and puts it Fire Camino's St. Patty's celebration. And he hit me up out of the blue and he said, "Man, me and you both have a mutual friend, Taylor Hollingsworth. And I wanted to come book you to come play at my show. And Taylor's going to play it. And I just figured it would all be cool if we all were there and playing and meeting." And he said, to sweeten the deal, that Martin over there in that case, he said, "I got a Martin guitar I want to give you." And I was like, "Say less."
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
And that was the first night me and Taylor, I played.
Show me the Martin.
Yeah. But Taylor shared the stage with me that night. That was the first time me and Taylor played together. But Fire Camino, that's, he's like a little brother to me, man.
That's very cool.
He's a ball of energy.
Yeah, I saw Eddie 9-Volt.
I met him through Bo Hicks.
Really? I was in I have satellite radio in my car,
That
and
episode,
he was on, and he came on. I think I was listening to the Spectrum or something, and he came on, and I was like, I just saw this guy's name on Porch Talk. And I was like, ah, man, that's like, and of course, like Red Clay Strays, like, I mean, you've gotten like some like real legit like people that are blowing up right now, like you know, like Honeycut and Red Clay and Eddie 9-Volt, and I just like
We did that podcast at Druid City Brewing in the old brewing room across the street.
yeah. Oh man, I haven't been in
it's-
there. It's all. I mean, is it completely empty now, or are they still like? It's not functional. I don't think. I haven't really. Yeah.
I haven't been in over there in a while, but
But you were just in the brewery, like the actual
Yeah.
main room, like where they serve the beer.
No, I was in the back.
Oh, the back where they used to have the kegs and stuff, and or the actual beer making machines. There's a word for that. It's better than beer making machine.
Y'all know
the vats.
The vats, the thing.
Yeah.
But
Let's go with that.
And yeah, they used to be before Eddie 9-Volt. It was called Preacher Band.
That sounds familiar too.
And I mean, Eddie 9-Volt, like one of his songs, I think off of the first Eddie 9-Volt record, pays homage to Bo Hicks in Tuscaloosa. He gives Tuscaloosa a shout out.
Nice.
Because Bo was always so good to him.
Yeah, I mean, Bo's been so good to so many people, and I don't see that changing about him. He's, you know.
I mean, him and Tyler put together the show, and it was supposed to be just Brittany Howard, and this is at the Alabama Theater.
Yeah.
And Brittany Howard plays one song. Oh, I forgot something. Here come the whole Alabama Shakes, and they announced that night we're back together.
So that was this past November, right? Because it was Thanksgiving, and my wife and I were leaving to go to, my sister lives in Charleston, and we were going to and I told her, I was like, you know, my buddy Bo's been putting on this thing at the theater in Tuscaloosa, the Bama Theater, and he told me I would not want to miss this one. He didn't like no detail, just like you're not gonna want to miss this one. And I was like, bro, like I really want to do it, but it's Thanksgiving, like we're supposed to leave because it was it that Wednesday? I think it was a Wednesday.
It was a weekday.
I want to say, was it the day before Thanksgiving?
That sounds right.
Like I want to say it because I was like, we were on the fence, staying in Tuscaloosa, going to this, and then driving on and being up there and for whatever it was, and maybe it was, you know, Tuesday, whatever night it was, but like for whatever reason, we just couldn't make it work. We couldn't figure it out, and you know, I can't remember if it was Thanksgiving or maybe even Christmas. But it was like, because we were going up to be with my sister and her family, like we were all getting together for that. And I just remember like, I really wanted to go to this, but I was like, I just can't rationalize driving out of the way to go to this and then having to get up in the morning way early and drive to, you know, 10 hours to Charleston. I was just like, I don't think we should do it. We didn't do it. And then we ended up leaving that night, going there, and I woke up the next morning to AL.com, and they got it plastered on there, and I look, and like my wife, I go, son of a bitch, and I'm like, what? And I was like, then I show her like this, and I was like, we miss it. She was like, oh, honey. I was like, but in all fairness, He told me, and now he can actually look at me and say, I told you so. But daggone, man, how cool to be a fly on the wall for that one, you know, or just, I mean, really, literally to be a person in a seat watching, thinking you're going to see, you know, a relative, you know, kind of more of a laid back show, and all of a sudden a rock band shows up.
And not only that,
it rocks the house, dude.
One of Alabama's most famous.
I mean,
rock bands.
Yeah, I would, you know, definitely from this century. I can't think of anybody else besides, you know, Skinner, you know. But I mean, like, I'm just so, I still kicking myself over that.
And just back to the movie thing. I mean, how many songs have the Shakes written in movies?
Yeah, dude. Red Clay Strays too, man. They've been on Landman. I don't know if you've seen any of those, but they're on that. What was the movie? It was the sequel to The Shining.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. So she's wearing the Red Clay Stray shirt in the film,
And if you
and
know-
the song and the music is in it as well.
And if you like pay attention, one of the people that gets killed, they get killed in the A Porch shirt.
No, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I gotta go back and watch Doctor Sleep now.
It's Alabama up, dude.
That is so cool, man.
Like I've got
How
the.
did that? I mean, I wonder who was on the production of that. This.
They
you
were,
know,
they
or
were,
you
they
know
were
what I
Red Clay
mean?
Stray heads.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, God, man, that is just so funny to see.
Well, man, we've got people turning up. Parking lot's full. We got
That's right.
we got a 3 o'clock live show. You've already missed it if you're watching this, but I do invite you to please partake. Please come. Close on Sundays. Every Sunday at 3 o'clock. I've got 3 more questions to walk out of the door. Man,
Yeah.
I feel like we've done a pretty good job of getting to know you, just by kind of
Yeah,
talking to these
how
people.
do we know all these people and not know each other? Like that's it's just baffling to me. I've had this happen a couple times with some friends. Like I played down on the Gulf Coast. Like I said, I live there, but Jer, who runs the Sandbar, like we know all the same people, attended college the exact same years, never knew each other. Knew all the same people, but we didn't meet until just like a few years ago. And it's like, and we went through like this list. How do you know this person? How do you know this one? Like, how are we not? And then of course I have to think about it too. It's like, well, Jerry, you look like me now. He had longer red hair and I had long brown hair. Like we look completely different.
Yeah.
So, but I just couldn't believe how like that's happened a few times in my life where. How are we just passing ships in the night, you know? But somehow or another, but here we are.
Here we are.
Today, and you were on my feet. So I mean, it you know, you came across because I reached out to you, seeing all these people. I was like, bro, I got to do this. Like this
Well,
is.
dude, I was glad you did.
cool.
And right when I checked out your music, I was like, oh, we love that. This because I gotta tell you, like just getting ready to wind it up, but man, like with the harmonica and even like your lyrics, the guitar, it reminds me a lot of like a Blues Travelers.
Mhm.
It's happy-go-lucky. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I wish I had the skills of John Popper on the harmonica. I can tell you that, man. That
First
boy-
time I saw him,
a bandolier
that's what
or whatever.
yeah. The first time I saw him live, I was like, "Is that guy wearing a bandolier?"
The whole vest.
Yeah.
It's actually a vest. The whole vest has like, yeah, I mean, it's a crazy.
Like, this
ensemble.
guy's nuts. But
Yeah, and great at it. And that's when I found out, like, you know, a lot of people play like half-step tuning, you know, and like when you do that, I mean, everything's sharp, flat, whatever you get. So it behooves one to have all 12 of the keys. Otherwise, I mean, you got to bend it like crazy. I mean, bend it like Beckham to be able to get that. So, and he's one of those guys that could do that, but he's got that bandolier thing. And but that is. I appreciate the
and also
compliment.
like with the music that you have shared on like say YouTube
Mhm.
is the first song is the song that I shared to promote this show. Right when me and Webb pulled it up, I was sharing Webb. He was like, "That's kind of Beatle-esque."
Yes, I hear that a lot about that song. That's the "It's All Gone Wrong."
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people tell me like, I hear a lot of Beatles in there, and when I was like, really? I was like, and I love to hear that because I mean, who didn't listen to the Beatles growing up? Who doesn't like the Beatles? I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find people that aren't like even if you're not a big fan of the Beatles. I mean, there's got to be something in that catalog that speaks to you. I mean, just you know where and so I do think there's a lot, you know, again, like when you're in the car with your parents as a kid, you know, my mom loved the White Album, so we're like constantly listening to the Beatles White Album, like so, and Abbey Road, like those were two that were constantly in the CD player, a CD player, kids. But yeah, it was constantly that music, and I mean, you know, I'll you know, it's getting older, you started listening to more like, you know, the solo records. I found that I'm more of a George fan. You know, I like George Harrison more. I mean, I love John, love Paul, even love Ringo. But
I say like I've been like a Ringo head lately. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I like some Ringo.
Well, have you ever seen the All Star Band?
Mm-mm.
You know, when you know the Ringo Starr All Star Band, like
Mhm.
when they played Tuscaloosa Amphitheater several, at least
I'd like to
several
catch it.
times now. But Todd Rundgren, used to be his keyboard player. Like, I mean, it really is like all star, like who's who. And you know, when Ringo comes a knocking, comes a calling, you answer that, right? I mean, he's a living legend. I mean, he's Ringo,
Yeah.
not Richard Starkey. He is Ringo. I mean, he's bigger, larger than life. I mean, that guy has had the same message for over 50 years, and it's peace, love. I mean, like he's all. I mean, like he's been the same person through and through, and I think that's part of why that music transfers over to me, because there's a lot of truth and genuine feeling behind all of it, and so I appreciate that, because
Yeah.
I when I first wrote it, when I first read this song, I didn't have it in mind as like a Beatles song. I just it was like you said, it was kind of happy. It was like a kind of like I call it like the like kind of that '90s feel, like how these songs would have like sad lyrics, but the song was like really upbeat,
The hey
kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I've always liked that idea. And I think there was a little bit behind that, like, hey, here's a song about it's all gone wrong, but
It's happy.
and it's got a little happy tune to it. But I'm glad that you said that, because I've had people say that before, that it's Beatlesque, and I wasn't going for that. But again, it's all in how it's interpreted, you know, how people see it, how what they feel, and what they
And
hear.
just with your list and like just going through the who's who, like a lot of Alabama, and I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this, is I am so happy and proud of a lot of people on that list.
Yes.
And just as a
Yes.
state as a whole, I feel like we're really producing.
Yeah, like I said, you know, living in Gulf Shores, the Gulf Shores of Alabama, Orange Beach, right next to the Floribama, like there is and it's Mobile, Pensacola, there's just this wild pool of talent that is just around, and it's just it's almost palpable at times, how you walk into a certain venue with a certain band, and you can already feel it, like you can feel the energy. I mean, it's just there. There's this band right now down there that I've really been into, Rufus McBlack, and they are. It's actually a hodgepodge of all three of their names, like combined into Rufus McBlack. But they're like one of my, bands that they've been together for a few years. But I mean, there is nobody that sounds like them. Like not on the, I mean, it's like a mixture of Primus and Mars Volta. Like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like, yeah, there's nobody. I mean, there's just nobody like this band, and but I'm such a fan, and I like stuff like that. That's a little bit off the cuff, but then again, like I like funk bands, and I like the horns, and I like I'm kind of all over the place. Like I said, growing up, like Granddaddy listened to old country. Guess who listened to old country? Dad liked the bubblegum pop. Guess who has this affinity for this pop music from back in the day? And then you have the Beatles, like my mom. My sister had a bunch of '90s stuff. So I mean, I just growing up in that time frame too, and starting a little cover band when we were teenagers. Like it all. I just had this high, and then you got the hip hop, like from ATL, I mean, I love Outkast and all this different stuff, and it all comes together. But then I do some original like this, and like, oh, I hear the Beatles. I'm like, cool.
Keep on keeping on, man. What is the best way for people to keep up with you, social media wise, website? How can people keep up with you?
Yeah, well, I do have my web. Actually, let me see if I got my little sticker here. Yeah, at Tuna Fish is my YouTube. Everybody was always asking, "Oh, are you?" Because I live on the Gulf Coast. He's like, "Oh, are you a fisherman?" I'm like, "Oh no, my name's Charlie." It's Charlie Tuna Fish, and that's how I got my little handle. But yeah, man, Charles Irwin Wilson Music, Irwin with an E, and you can find my music on YouTube. I have some originals on there. I did a cover series a few years back now, and just released a bunch, just like one video a week or something for some time, and it was just did a bunch of covers, just me in a room. I did a kind of a one-man band, had like the drums and hi-hat and like doing little stuff, and that was a lot of fun to do that, and but I also have Facebook and Instagram and all that. But yeah, you can find Tuna Fish and Charles Irwin Wilson Music. I'm basically on all platforms, you know. I mean, all the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I feel like I hit the classic three, the trifecta, trifecta of socials.
Man, so nice to finally meet you, and we'll have to do this again, man. We got some
absolutely.
more stones to uncover.
I know.
Turn over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We'll be doing it. We'll do it again sometime soon.
Next home game, huh?
Yeah. I was about to say I'm here for Vandy, Tennessee, and LSU in Oklahoma.
All right.
Yeah, so two in October, 2 in November.
We'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I'd love to. This has been a lot of fun, and like I said, I can't wait. I got to go back. We got to find another list. There's like you said, we got the main one, but yeah, we turn this camera off. You got to tell me about Blake.
Okay.
I want to hear about Shaking Like a Caveman because like that, you're the first person I've met in the wild that knows of Blake. You even knew his full name. I was like, oh my god! Like, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know it. All right, everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you.